Hi everyone, this is Shannon from Shannon Feeling Crafty here. You can see the mess in my craft room behind me, but that's how things work around here. Today I'm going to be doing a sunflower on excuse me, I'm trying to pull this up on my computer and it's not working. Today I'm going to be doing a sunflower on a small Unique in the Creek flower board using 3 different petals. Hello Kelly, how are you? All right, here we go. I think I got this. There we go. Hi Kelly. Great, I'm doing great, Kelly. My headache is all gone from yesterday. So here is the small Unique in the Creek flower board. I just got it started because I used 3 petals. I used this angel wing petal on the outside. I used this, I'm not sure what it's called here. It's kind of a variation on a Gerber daisy petal. And this is a Charlotte petal. And I don't know who named that one, but I've learned, there I go. I have learned most of my petals from either Julie's Wreath Boutique or Carrie's Wreath Creation, actually. She does really good petals and she's very thorough and she takes her time. So I'm gonna tilt, hi Kim. So I'm gonna tilt my camera down so you can see my mat instead of my messy craft area behind me where I have my paint and random ribbon and some of my mesh. You did remember, I'm so excited. All right, so let me see. How's that good? Is that good? All right, so I'm just showing, this is the board I'm using. This is a 12-inch board, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 rings, and then it has these 2 in the middle. I'm not going to be using the outside. This is the large flower board. This is, I think, like 15.5 inches. I didn't measure it, but I think it's that. I actually have a whole bunch of these, but I've never used them. So here's what I started so far, just to see what petals I wanted to use. I have to be a little bit extra because just doing 1 petal is kind of boring to me. So I will show you what I did. This is the pre-made center that I got online, but I think that they also sell these in Hobby Lobby. Sometimes I got it at Craft Outlet, I believe. So this is the first petal. It's going on the outside ring. It's an angel wing. Basically, I'm going to show you how to make one of those. So here's some leftover mesh. I almost always turn my mesh to the right. Here's the factory edges. I almost always turn it to the right. I know that you're a little bit backwards, so it's hard to see. So then I fold it up. I forgot which petal I was making. Like this. Hi, Carla. And then I just scrunch up the middle. And this is the same petal that I've used for my crosses and some people use for their angel wings. And when I do things, I almost always pre-make the petals, and the reason why, whoops, that's broken. The reason that I pre-make my petals is really because if I put them in the board, in the flower board, and I don't like the configuration, then I can take them out and move them around. So I put the little rubber band on, and when I go to put it in, I'm just gonna clip this part right here. Oh my goodness, I have my comments over here too. I finally did a thing. So that's the angel wing petal. This is the next petal that I'm gonna do on the next row right here. You'll see it has just a fold right down the middle. I don't know what this is called. I learned it from Carrie's Wreath Creation. She's very thorough when she teaches petals. She does them very slowly and carefully. So I watch her when I'm learning new petals. And I watch Julie's Wreath Boutique too, but she, you know, she's like the queen, but she doesn't always go the same slow as Carrie Wreath Creation. So I'm gonna take it, finish edges on top, and turn it to the right again. I think whatever decision you make about how you're gonna turn your mesh, you should really just stick with that unless you're trying to do a reverse on the opposite side of like an angel wing or something, or a cross where you might want the one side to have the finished edge somewhere else and you need to do the opposite. So I'm going to fold down for this one, and I will show you first how I do the Gerber Daisy petal, which is what I used. Hi Cassie, which is what I use for the dragon scales, believe it or not. I fold this down. Actually, I'm going to fold this side down because of the finished edge. I fold this down. And for the Gerber Daisy, which I use for the dragon petals, but I did it upside down, you cover them, you overlap them a little bit. For the dragon scales, you overlap them, otherwise you don't, and then you scrunch it. So for my dragon scales, I overlapped them, and that was the scale down the back of it. But for this, you're gonna fold it like this, then you're gonna turn it over and fold it like on this side. So you just have that seam down the middle. Hi Jen, you made it! And then scrunch it together. And of course, use a rubber band because I pre-make all my petals. I know a lot of people don't like to pre-make your petals, and it's not required. They just want to make their petal and put it directly in the wreath frame or the flower board, but I don't know. Carrie's Wreath Creation taught me to pre-make my petals, and she doesn't even always do it, but now I do. So here's this petal. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's sort of a modified Gerber Daisy petal. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if she said what it's called. I'm going to look back and see if she calls it something. I know Julie's Wreath Boutique invented so many of the petals, but I like this clean look. In fact, I might use this, ironed of course, for my next dragon. And the petal that I used in the middle is this. It's the Charlotte petal. I don't know where the name came from, but Carrie calls it the Charlotte petal. Jen, I'm making a sunflower today because I don't have the board for the dragon, but I am going to make the dragon in the next one. Sorry if that makes you cry, but I will make a dragon. All right, so for the Charlotte petal, you start just like you did with the last one and fold it in on both sides. Both of these are pretty forgiving in terms of finished edges or cut edges showing. You're not going to get a lot of fray on this or the last one. So here is what the Gerber Daisy petal would look like. It has like a little opening here, and I've used this before also. Sometimes if you want less of a space, you can pull it. So the difference between this and the Charlotte petal is on the side. You fold this in once, and you fold it in again. And then you do the same thing on the other side. Fold it in, and fold it in again. And then you have this. And I usually cut it off. It's somewhere around 6 inches. I don't measure it. It's just kind of right here at the end of this diagonal. I'm going to pretend like I'm putting it in my trash can, but really what happens is all these scraps fall on my floor. If my sister Cassie is still here, she can totally attest to that. And then at about 5 inches or 1 inch up, I gather that together and I put a band on it. These are leftover rainbow loom bands, actually, from when the kids were all doing that during the rainbow loom craze. And when I say the kids, I was making most of them. These are rainbow loom bands from my sister's twins case. So that's the Charlotte petal. So now to begin, this is the only one that frays really out of those 3. And I used, as Carla told me, this E6000 spray, and I sprayed the edges so that it would cut down on the fraying. I think I used too much of this because these are a little crispy, just saying. So a lot of people preload their boards, but when I preload the whole board, it's very confusing to me and I lose like track. But if you look at other videos, people preload their boards. So I'm actually going to do the outside. Normally I would do the outside all the way around first, but what I was doing was kind of experimenting. So I'm going to squeeze one in here before you can see what I'm doing. Because I want to make sure that the layer in front is going to cover up the zip ties and the other things that are going on. So I'm going to stick this little angel wing in here. And I'm going to zip tie it. And these on the outside are going to overlap more, and that's okay. I will adjust them like to my liking when I'm done. I showed these to my kids who are, let me see, you love it. You got here a minute late, how dare you, Jen? But when I make the dragon, I'll make sure to tell you as well. I showed this to my kids and they pretended to care and said that this was a very pretty sunflower. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So I'm going to do one more before you can see. I actually could not, I'm running out of zip ties, which is kind of hard to believe, because I thought I had a lifetime supply of zip ties, but right now I seem to have like the last bag of clear zip ties, so I'm going to have to buy some. So most of these are 6 inches. I typically use 8-inch ones because I think they're easier to use, depending on what I'm doing. Some people use tiny 4-inch zip ties to secure their petals before they go ahead and put them in. I don't know, rubber bands are easier for me, or maybe I just have so many rubber bands. So here on the 3rd row, I'm actually using the bigger sections rather than the smaller sections. So some of the holes are shared, and I'm only doing that because of how I want these to lay. Usually with the Unique in the Creek board, you're using these where they're paired in 2s, depending on your petal. For a lot of designs, people use all the shared holes going around the outside. There are many different ways to create flowers on these boards, so I'm using this right here. And when I preload mine, I just like put them up like this. Most people connect them together, and I get absolutely lost if I do that. I don't know why. We're all different. Let's see, so I'm going to share this one. Hopefully I have enough of these because sometimes I can't count. I'm not going to lie. All right, so I'm only going to do a few because they're very short zip ties. Somebody should have told me to buy some zip ties for this live. Like I said, I thought I had a lifetime supply. I'm going to cut this hot mess right there. So like I said, if you don't have rubber bands, you can use 4-inch zip ties. Whoops. You would be too? Is that what you said, Kelly? I just don't understand how people do it. Because they actually connect them and they have loops all over. You're glad, right, and they connect them all in loops for the whole entire board, and I cannot comprehend what they're doing. So I just did a couple here, but I didn't connect them because my brain can't handle it. I'm just cutting this right here, this little tip, so it's not like such a big bump when I go to put the next layer on. It doesn't matter that much. I did not measure my angel wings exactly when I put them together. Some people will like put it on their mat and measure it, and I think there are some things where I do that. And when I make the dragon, I'll be more precise because I was really precise with those petals. If I had one here, I would show you. Oh, I do. This is one of the dragon petals, and it's totally flat because I ironed it with a hanky over it to make it that flat. And it's also fused black over red. So that's kind of crazy. All right. So here we go. If you could see my floor, there's yellow mesh and like broken zip ties literally everywhere. So I pre-made all these petals, but if at any point somebody needs me to show them how I made something, just say it in the comments and I'll share it because I already shared it at the beginning, how to make them. Hey Cassie, are you still there? All right, I'm gonna do my next one. I hope I didn't cut out. Nobody's commenting now. All right. We're going to get around with these angel wings here. Whoops. I usually buy my zip ties at Dollar Tree, but sometimes they don't have them anymore, so then I will buy them in bulk on Amazon. I don't know where. I mean, I think a lot of people order them. Hi, Paul. I think a lot of people order them from Amazon. And they do come in various sizes and colors. I like to use black ones around Halloween. I'm going to cut these and show you how it looks so far. So that's the outside row of the sunflower so far. I wanted it to be like, oh, thanks, Kim. I actually have 3 Golden Girls shirts. And they're my favorite, and I only had one, and it was black, and I wore it so much that the Golden Girls are almost not on there anymore, so I had to buy 2 more, and they're a purple one, a black one, and then this one, which is all in color. The others are grayscale, so I have a Golden Girls little problem, I think, but I do get a lot of comments out in public. They sell them all over the internet, Kim, or Carla. So you just Google Golden Girls Queens t-shirt and you'll find them. I think my recent purple one I got from Amazon, but I've gotten others from Etsy. So I have a lot of like strange shirts like that, and I always, you know, kind of make a scene in public where everybody's like looking at Dolly Parton or hot cross buns or whatever's on my shirt. I think I might have worn Dolly Parton last time I did a live. All right, so I'm almost around with these angel wing petals, and then we'll see what it looks like. I have my computer next to me. I never did that before. It's so weird that I can see better like what is happening instead of trying to look up at this phone constantly. I've never actually seen what Facebook has looked like on a computer since I got this page. It's so bizarre. I don't know if other creators think that, but I always do it on my phone or my iPad. All right, so just 3 more. Hopefully I have more than 3 left, so apparently I can't count. That's typical. I have pre-made petals and cut pieces of mesh in piles in my walk-in closet in my bedroom, you know, for the next time that I do it, that I have these like random pieces left. I don't know why. If anybody needs me to, you need something. Yes, you know what, you do have a lot of rock band t-shirts, and I thought of you. I actually got a Stevie Nicks t-shirt. I don't know if you like her, but I love Stevie Nicks. So I mixed it up with that. I also got a Big Bang Theory t-shirt that says rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock, which my children, who are 20 and 22, approved of. There is so much yellow mesh all over my floor. I'm trying to pretend like I'm a dignified wreath maker, but I'm really not. I'm really a huge mess. And when I vacuum up around my craft area, you just see like rubber bands and pieces of mesh and like broken zip ties and all sorts. How do I store or organize my pre-made petals? If it's for a project that I'm doing, I just like put it in one of these Dollar Tree storage tubs. I actually, whatever projects I'm currently working on, I just throw all the possible materials I might use into a tub. And then that's the same tub that I put the petals in. And then when I'm done with them and I have leftovers, then I just put them like on a shelf in my closet. But I usually have some kind of container that I put them in, because if I leave them on my table, they just fall on the floor, which happens when I'm cutting my mesh, because when I wood burn my mesh, I'm not one of those people that wood burns it into a neat pile. I wood burn it and there's like curls all over and they're falling on the floor. We can't all be Kim, you know what, that's a good question about the mesh, and my answer would have been no. And then I was at Hobby Lobby, I don't remember what day, one of the days this week, and I saw pre-cut 12-inch squares of mesh. But I will tell you that it was like a pack of 25, and it was, you know, like $4 or $5, which is a huge ripoff. And poly burlap mesh is really the only one they had, and poly burlap mesh is already super expensive. So here's how it looks so far. I wanted the pointy ones on the outside because it's like a real sunflower vibe. So I will show you really fast. This is my wood burning tool, and I've been seeing this in a lot of YouTube videos, the same green one, because I'm not using it to create, like I'm not a wood burner. I'm not, you know, making beautiful designs in wood. You're supposed to wear a mask when you wood burn mesh because it's plastic. Hold on. This is my large glass board here, and I'm not using it, but for 10-inch pieces, I can use this. This is a glass board. Most of them are clear, and they put them over their mat. I don't do that. They're marked as well. So here's the 10-inch, and I should put something there. So when I'm cutting larger pieces, I use that, but this would be hot, and I would just go down the 10-inch and cut. You need the glass mat because otherwise it's gonna burn. So it's pretty heavy. I've actually traveled with this to Florida to make wreaths with, because I find that if you don't wood burn your mesh, the fray is so much worse. So that's my wood burning tool. So back to my sunflower. We've done all the outside ones. So now we're gonna do Now we're going to do this row here. Like I said, if you look on the back, we didn't do this. This is where I would normally put leaves, but I don't think the leaves are going to show with how big the petals are. So I'm going to put these in. I don't know, I did some of these last night and I did some of them today, and they're not all folded exactly the same. I did half and half, so I'm gonna alternate them. And I know it's not gonna be easy for you to see what I mean, but I'll show you too. So I didn't follow my own advice when I did it. Let me see which one isn't like this. Okay, so when I hold these up here, this is the fold on this side, and this is the fold on this side. Maybe you wouldn't notice it, but I notice it. So I'm alternating them because I did half one way and half the other way. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't following my own advice today when I did it. Was not. Or maybe I just didn't remember how I did it last night, or I lost my mind because I wasn't hungry. I don't know. I should have cut this off so it didn't interfere with the next row. I'm really good at cutting myself with craft scissors, so hopefully that won't happen on here. I do have one of those things that tightens your zip ties and then cuts them. I don't know where it is, and I can't always use it properly. I'm not sure why. So I'm going to put another one here. This really is a lot easier with the larger zip ties. I don't know how I let my zip tie collection get so low. It's not like me. They're usually everywhere, like the pipe cleaner. Callie, I am drained from my migraine, I'm not gonna lie, but I didn't really do anything today except fold a few petals. I was gonna take a nap, but then I couldn't fall asleep, so I didn't. But I'm drained, but I really slept all afternoon yesterday. I woke up for maybe an hour or two, had something to eat, talked to my children, because they golf every day. They're golfing now, so that was like the only time, whoops, that I could talk to them. And then I went back to sleep. I mean, it was pretty early that I went back to sleep. I get migraines a lot, so if you ever like actually look on my page, it's happened before that I've had to bail because of a migraine, but they're absolutely debilitating if you get them, so I apologize if that ever happens. Whoops, wrong one. I'm glad you're here though today, Kelly. I tried to tell the people that were going to come yesterday, but hey, they can watch the replay if they would like. That's fine. So I'm almost done with this row. Oh, I didn't cut it again. Maybe I'm hungry now, and that's the problem. I have like 70-ish subscribers on YouTube, so if you don't subscribe to my YouTube yet, that would be awesome. If you did, I would love it so much. So far, I think I have 2 shorts on there, and then I've put my lives that I've done so far on there. I think I may do some more shorts, like how to make certain petals and things like that, because one of the ones that I have on there is just a quick overview of how to make a felt center for your flower, which is what I do most of the time. I've made a mesh center, and I've made felt centers, and I've made one with macrame cord. A lot of people use jute. rope. Today I'm using a pre-made center because it's just the perfect sunflower center. But I did that when I started. I don't know what I'm doing. Look at me using the wrong thing. I did that when I started out, but then I started making my own signs and centers for things. I'm trying to do that more, Kim, I'll tell you, because I just finished a couple weeks ago 3 months of physical therapy on my back. And sitting here creating for too long really does affect my back. I don't know if anybody else has that situation. I have like this fancy butt pillow I'm sitting on, and I'm trying to sit up perfectly straight to cut back on that problem. I think this is the last one, and then I'll show you. But I found when I was teaching, it was actually the virtual teaching online that was so painful. So I'm trying not to sit here too much and aggravate my back. So this is the last one of this petal. And here's where we're going to find out if the Charlotte petal is going to cover everything up. So I'm going to make sure these are all turned facing the way that they're laid in there. Let's put this behind. Okay, there we go. So that's so far. Hope you can all see that. All right, so now I'm gonna finish the inside row. And I'm gonna have to cut some of this mesh off and make a big mess so I can fit the other stuff. When you do the inside row, it really gets very crowded in there. So if you look on the inside row, they're grouped here. They're always grouped in pairs on the Unique and the Creek board. But for most designs, you're going to use the shared holes. So there are 4 pairs of these small holes together. But most people, of them closer together, most people end up using the shared holes and put 8 in the middle, because if you only put 4, unless it's like a larger petal that has more coverage, you're gonna have gaps. So most people use shared holes. If you use daisy chain, which I'll probably do a live on someday, which uses like so many materials, if you do that, you have to do all shared holes for the entire project, which is double your mesh. So I will count these in a minute and tell you how many 10-inch pieces I used. And you can see me going through and putting these through the shared holes. Oops. Also, my hands shake a lot. If you know me in real life, you know that. And sometimes I just can't get like, maybe that's why I burn myself so much with hot glue. I'm going to use that as my excuse. We all know that I would do it anyway, but all right, I think I have one more. So I'm going to use these that I already made. I made extra of these Charlotte petals because I wasn't sure. It took you a while to understand, Jen? It took you a while to understand what? I'm not explaining myself well. I made so many of these because I didn't know if I was going to use any in the row before for coverage, where I would maybe do them every other, but I didn't need them. So your back hurts if you clean too much. Listen, that's part of the problem, because I have chronic back pain, which I know Carla does too if she's still here. I have chronic back pain, and I've been in physical therapy for it so many times since 2021. And when I was getting ready to move, and I had a 2-bedroom condo, packing and cleaning, I was getting like 12,000 steps every day. But when you're bending over or you're pushing a vacuum, so all those things were really making my back hurt. I was being stupid. I needed somebody to help me. Should have had one of you guys come over and help me. All right, so we are almost done putting these petals in. I don't know if you can tell that from the way you're looking. This is too long. So much mesh on my floor. I don't know if you're still there, Cassie, but if you are, could you drive 5 hours to my house and vacuum up my mess? Well, that'll teach you not to mop, Jen. That's the problem. You shouldn't be mopping. My boys are home from college now, which actually creates a much bigger mess. But they'll do things like take the trash out if you just really harass them. So some of these are losing a little shape, but I'm in the middle and it's super crowded, so it's just, it is what it is. If you remember, if you've been a follower for a long time, last fall I did a few random flower designs with fall colors, and I also did a 3 sunflower wreath, which did not use a Unique in the Creek board. But I saw Holly Hobbies use one of these small flower boards to make an actual regular wreath, kind of in a pancake type method that was really cool. So if I have other crafters watching this now or on replay, really my favorite people to watch, and I'm sure there are others, so, but Julie's Wreath Boutique, obviously, she's the queen. Carrie's Wreath Creation, she's a great Facebook too. I don't get enough time to go there. Did I skip something here? I might have to put one there. Looks like I have a big gap here. So we will put something there. Sometimes you figure this out, that you should have put another petal there, but here's the basic design. Obviously, I love watching Carla from Carla's Clever Crafts when she's on live, and she puts all of her tutorials on YouTube. She's been taking a break lately, but she's usually on 4 times a week. All right, so I need one of, I can't find it. That sounds like me. All right, so I'm gonna make another one. I'm gonna make another one of those petals that's folded in the middle. I'm gonna go this way. When I decide which way I'm going, it really has to do with the finished edges. I want to fold it in so the finished edges are showing. So right now I have a finished edge here and a finished edge here. And when I flip it over, same thing. Finished edge and finished edge. That's why this is a great petal to use, because it cuts down on your frame. If I were a rubber band, where would I be? Right here. Thank you, Kim. I have made sunflowers all with the same petal. And if you look like, oh, Carla, that's Carla. Listen, you're both all like 3Ks, so I messed it all up. I like doing that because I get bored. I have done the sunflowers with all the same petal, you know, the typical sunflower petal. And I have done the sunflowers with, I have done daisy chain all the way around, although I did that for a peppermint wreath, not an actual flower. Oh, actually, here we go. I've lost my mind again. I made that for no reason. There we go. If you look at my fall flowers from last year, you can use deco mesh. I'm a big fan of poly burlap, but poly burlap is more expensive. You really can't do this with small mesh, like 6-inch. That's way too tight. You have to do it with 10-inch mesh. That was way too tight. You have to use 10-inch mesh to do it, but you can use deco mesh, and a lot of people do. If you go on YouTube, a lot of people use deco mesh. The thing that I don't love about using deco mesh is it's not as precise, so it's like harder to get the petal really pointy. But it's very pretty, and for roses, especially if you learn how to make roses, it's perfect, the deco mesh. So it just really depends on the look that you're going from. You got it from BB Crafts, so it's 10 inches. People have even used the 21-inch mesh. I don't know why this is not working properly. Clearly I messed up this hole. Anyway, I can't seem to figure out what I'm doing wrong here. So I'm just gonna put the sign on and then figure it out later. Somehow I messed this up, and I'm not really sure how. So I'm just gonna scooch these around and spread them out a little bit, because I don't really know what I did wrong. I think that these are just not as full as I thought they were. All right, so then here's the sunflower, which is gonna go here, which is actually gonna cover the thing that I couldn't figure out, which is fine. So there are 2 holes right here in the middle, but there's no way I can get to them now. I've tried it before, but I just can't. So I'm just gonna pick 2 from this row here to run this through. I attached a pipe cleaner on the back. I used some rapid fuse, dab rapid fuse, and a glue gun, and then I put a piece of felt over it. There are times that I've just glued it on, but it's just way better to do it like this. So here we go. Like I said, I'm not gonna put leaves on this, but most designs I will put leaves on. I'm just not on this one because this one, the outside petals are very long and pointy. So there is the completed sunflower right there. I'm going to move this back a little bit and see if I can hold it up for you. And I'm just going to adjust these a little so that they're overlapping in a way that I like them. So there's the completed sunflower right here. How do you like it? I am going to post this picture and maybe take some of the steps from the live and put them up on my page as well, but this is the whole thing. And then if you look in the back, this is where I attached it. And there's actually a place on the back of the Unique in the Creek board where they put hanging holes. I can never find them. They're right here. You can really put the pipe cleaner or the fishing line or whatever through any, thank you, Carla, through any holes that you want, wherever you want the top, like the part of the sunflower that you think is the prettiest. That's usually what I do. And then you don't have to, but very often I'll put felt or a placemat on the back. Well, Kelly, you can either make one or you can talk to me about this. So that is the completed sunflower. So I hope you learned something. Sorry I made those total mistakes. I know when I watch other people, they make weird mistakes like that too. I couldn't figure out which petal was missing. So I don't know how I figured it out if I preloaded all the holes. So I will hang this up and take a picture and then put that in the comments. And I will also post it on my page. I thank you for your patience and have a great night. Bye-bye.